Hey, thanks for joining us on this week's version of People Over Politics. This is episode 26. And last week was a very special episode because we made it to 25. We will have and continue to have an episode every week, every Sunday, airing at 9 a.m. And this week, we have a guest coming from a different area of Maryland, right next door, Anne Arundel County. So thanks for joining us, Erica Griswold. How you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course, of course. We like to have a mix of public servants, political candidates, and people already serving, but also just everyday people, business owners,
Of course.
advocates. So
Of course.
yes. So for people who don't know about you, give them your elevator pitch. Who is Erica?
Oh, let's see. Elevator pitch. I don't have one. No, I'm just kidding. Who is Erica? I am a Annapolis native. Um, I've always lived here and served here in Annapolis. In Anne Arundel County, I've been in community service and in entertainment for 20 plus years. People is my passion, and serving is my reason. So,
Got you. That's short and simple, and I'm sure people will learn more about you.
oh
But
yeah,
you definitely been on my radar. I'm a part of the NAACP, and there's a couple races that we following closely, and
yeah,
I'm sure that there'll be support and interest they try to throw. But your race, I believe, was at the top because it was Anne Arundel County black candidate for Register of Wills,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
I'm pretty sure that was you.
yeah. It
Um,
was me.
yes, I'm pretty sure. And so of course
That was me.
you have a general election coming up.
I
Right?
do. I
Uh,
um I do. This entire process has been just very interesting. It's the first time that I've ever got into politics. I come from a family who's always been in community serving and service and always serving for the right reasons. So I'm not opposed, to it. But politics, this is new. The reason why I am running for the Register of Wills, I have personal um, experiences with wills and family and homes that people passed on, and the homes is not and without a will.
uh,
When that happens, I've had personal experience of trying to fight for that property. So through my frustration, I started doing my research and I said, who controls all of this, the process, and what can and what cannot be done? And why don't a lot of people know about it? So it just became my mission after that. Once it became my mission, I filed and now I'm running for the Register of Wills. A lot of people in particularly marginalized communities don't know anything about Register of Wills or the office or what it is.
sure. I
So,
mean, that was my next question where I was getting to, like, what is the Register of Wills? Like,
yeah,
I personally, I'll tell you, I personally learned a little bit about it because a friend of mine, he tried to convince me a crazy enough idea to just run for it, right? And the reason he tried to convince me to run for it was because he was like, the other person just continues to run. He was like, most of the time you don't even
yep,
know what they do. And so, like, I looked into it a little bit, but like, you know, the thought is like, I would have thought you would have had to have multiple qualifications and
I
everything else
know.
as soon as you like learn about it. So, I mean, just not to be vague, what is the office and what are the duties and roles, because I just see them in the community sometimes, like,
Well, I'm glad that you see them in the community, right? Because here in Anne Arundel County and in Annapolis, we don't, right? The office is a ghost, and it's not known. So I want to and will change that when I get in. my mission is to educate the people on how important it is to have a, life and afterlife planning. Because we, and when I speak on we, particularly African Americans, we do not have those discussions, unfortunately. Not all of us, but some of us don't have those discussions about the wills, or having a will, or having anything that's um, going to a beneficiary. The only time that we hear some type of that terminology is when our loved ones are like in the hospital, already like in their beginning transformation stage. Um, so as the person come in and they ask the question, do you have a advance directive? That's the beginning. And that's typically and sometimes normal for a lot of the families. It's the first time they've ever heard of it. So I want to teach them what that is, and it's just a document that you of a life afterlife planning that you will have in place, so that when you pass on, your valuables will go to your beneficiary. It is that simple. The Register of Wills office run that process, meaning if you file your will with the Register of Wills office, then when the person pass on, you would then come into the office and then have that session, and then we will be responsible for dispersing all of the things that was requested by the person who passed on. So that's what the office does. It is a lot of management and overseeing, but that's what it does. How it can help is more outreach. I think
Sure.
that if we are, you said you see them out in the community, we don't see
Well,
them
yeah,
here.
like I think sometimes she would go to community meetings, and you know, and we're like within the community. So I
Mhm.
think that part is the FaceTime. So I guess they're not doing that FaceTime, in Anne Arundel.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, they're not. They actually, they're not doing any FaceTime, no connection, no outreach, no education about it, nothing.
Oh,
What's happening is marginalized communities have people that pass on, right, with property.
sure,
And by the time they gather up the enough money or funding to bury their loved ones, they're then faced with the probate fees, right? What's
sure,
outstanding. And typically what happens is that they do not go and get that property because of the probate fees be so high. They already, got their funding together to bury them, that there's no more funding. And then that property then goes. So all of the
sure.
memories and all of the things that they've worked so hard for go to probate lawyers and someone else, and people lose their property.
And
So I think that if I can get on the front end of that, we
yeah,
can avoid that by having a will, right? So if there's a will, there's a way.
hey, I like that
I believe
saying.
that.
That's a good one. That's a good one. No, and that you almost made me forget my point with that saying. That's a good one. What I was gonna say was, of course, it seems to be an issue of color, as you said. You just seem like the outreaches and as well in the black and brown communities, but you also feel like on the back end, unfortunately, those are the ones who tend to be less protected.
Right.
For me, I've worked in many areas of government. Annapolis, Capitol Hill, local county government, not Anne Arundel County, but Prince George's. And
Yeah.
I didn't know that there was two Annapolises really until working there, right? So I'm sure
To
you being
Annapolis?
yeah, two
Annapolis
in
and Anne Arundel?
no, well, two Annapolises in Annapolis,
To
like
Annapolis.
yeah, two
Where's
like okay. So when I
where's
say two Annapolises, right,
right?
I mean like the Annapolis that I would have known, and coming in there from Prince George's County was
Right.
the Annapolis that we see on, the Annapolis we see on the television,
I
Annapolis we
got
see
you.
that makes
Yep.
headlines, right? Like,
Right.
but like, being in there an extended period of time and, continuing to come to Annapolis and just, meeting a wide variety of people from Annapolis, you
Yeah.
learn that there's two Annapolises, right? Like, I didn't know like
That's
people
true.
died in Minneapolis. I thought it was like a just this great capital town, and but that's the thought is like like sometimes like
Yeah.
uh like you have to know where to go, or like the hood is disguised in Annapolis. Like it's pretty
Yeah.
interesting. Uh,
Only people that know about the hood is the hood, right? But
yes.
so I get it. The two Annapolises, that's a good terminology. Because unfortunately it's true, right? It's some people here in Annapolis feel like they live in another Annapolis, and they call themselves the other Annapolis. And it's just, it should just be one Annapolis, right?
Yeah.
That's it. So, we just hold people accountable who's in the position of power, right? To make those
Sure.
changes, even out the board, even out the playing field, make it
Sure.
equitable. And that's it, because we want Annapolis. It is one Annapolis.
No,
Everybody gets the chance.
I'm here for the unity and the
Yeah.
Annapolis. But me just coming in, like I was ignorant to the fact that like things happen in Annapolis. You know what I
Oh
mean? Like
yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
was I was ignorant to that fact. So
Yeah. A lot of people who visit here are, because like you said, they only see what they see, right? And if it's, even when it is a story or some kind of headline about one of the hoods, right? It's a bad thing.
oh
So
yeah, that yeah that's but that goes without saying almost anywhere. Like they're not talking about the
yeah.
kids getting on a roll or
Yeah.
doing something exemplary. Yeah, yeah. No,
Right.
it's normally
Right.
something tragic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's why it was important to me. It became important to me early on because I'm from one of them, right? I'm from one of those hoods that they talk about. So it became important to me, to not let that happen, to not forget about those ones, because no one forgot about me. My mother and my grandmother served the communities here in Annapolis all their lives. So it is important for us to celebrate the good, just like we would, you know, give some kind of like highlight to the bad. It got to be
Sure.
equal.
I
It
agree.
has to be equal on every level, on every level. So every chance I get, I do that. So I do events. I'm not only the Erica Griswold that's, working for the mayor's office, doing community service work, being that fierce leader and advocate for our residents that's running for Register of Wills. But I am also a radio personality under Diva the Voice, and I have done many um, uh, events and
Sure.
all through Annapolis, all through DC, all through Baltimore, and just bringing that awareness, bringing that entertainment to Annapolis. Because Annapolis, we held this, we were every entertainer came here to Annapolis to perform in Cars Beach years ago. So I wanted to bring that entertainment back to Annapolis, and we do that every year. Actually, tomorrow we're having our sixth annual Family Day Festival,
Ah,
and
okay.
it's held here in Annapolis at the base field
Yeah,
every year, and it's the only festival of its kind because we celebrate family and community. Because I feel like people use the word community and not really acknowledge the unity
sure.
at the end. So when we have these festivals in Annapolis, they're great. They are wonderful festivals that acknowledge all of the things that happened prior to us. We have the MLK Festival, wonderful. I hosted that festival, but it was in celebration of, the Dr. King, right? We have the Kuta Kente Festival, celebration of that. We had the second annual Juneteenth Festival, celebration of that. This
Yeah.
Family Day Festival is for us, by us. So it's a little
Okay.
different. And it's a funky good time.
Okay.
It's nice. It's nice.
Hey,
Yep. So
I like.
it happens like every third Saturday of July.
Oh,
Every
really?
year, the third Saturday of July.
I mean, well, you guys do a lot of events, and you guys have a lot of nice businesses out there anyway. So if you guys
Hmm.
don't have events, you guys always got different businesses to check out.
Yep. All the time. So and speaking of businesses to check out, we hold workshops, right, for young entrepreneurs. So we want to build them while they're young, like from age 9 to 17. and then have workshops of entrepreneurs so that they can learn the business first and then, eventually open up their business. So we just gotta, we got a whole lot of work to do.
Yes,
And I
yes.
ain't stopping until
And
I'm
and
going away from here.
I want I wanted to take a second and segue, give a shout out to another
Yeah.
Annapolis native, your campaign manager. He's the reason, of course, I know about you. He
Yes.
definitely spoke highly of you, and I've known him for several years. Him and I've been in many different advocacy
Yeah.
positions and campaign roles together.
He's the
So
best.
yes, yes,
He's the best. I'm telling you, he encourages me every single day. And I tell him that, like, if it wasn't for you,
yes, he is a
he's the
blessing.
best. Shout out to Keanu. He's the best.
Yes, and I know he's going to end up somewhere great. You know,
Oh,
I was
absolutely.
because I actually got elected right after his race. Mine was in November, so but Keanu definitely inspired me in many ways, and I was watching his campaign closely, and
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
we were taking advice from each other, like, hey, how did this event go? How did this go?
Right.
So yeah, I know he's
That's what
gonna be
it's
great.
about.
Yes,
That's what it's about. Learning from each other, doing, uplifting each other, empowering each other.
sure.
It's a new time, man. We missed it. We missed it. It was missed for a very long time here in Annapolis. It was missed.
Huh.
It's time, though.
And
It's
and
time.
and and I mean, I've seen over the years, I've seen some good things happening. In the Annapolis area, change of delegates, you getting more delegates of color, and
Yeah.
I think even the composition of I forget, is it what are they, ward members? I forget exactly what I forgot what the city people are called in Annapolis.
What?
Um,
Councilmen?
they're called council.
Delegates?
Are they
Yeah.
council in the city?
Aldermen? Yeah.
Yeah,
Aldermen and
alderman,
alderwomen.
alderman.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, yes.
you've had some change in alder person
Yes.
over the last few years. So
Yep, we did.
Annapolis definitely has doing some good things.
We are evolving to a better, younger, thriving, evolving, decision making.
Has there ever been a person of color in this position, or like is that history, or what?
Yeah, and as a alder person or a register of
Oh,
wills.
and the one you're running for, Register of Wills.
Oh, okay. So register of wills, no. I will be the first elect come
Oh,
November 8th.
oh, you said that
Never
you
had an African
said that
American
humbly.
person, not alone a
You
woman.
waited you waited to almost 20 minutes to tell us that, like, she is humble, right? And the fact that she had to let you know that, one, she just qualified, but also after that
Yeah,
that she can make history. I like
yeah,
it. I like it. I like
yeah,
it. I
I
like
do.
it.
Yeah. I appreciate you.
Yes,
I
yes.
appreciate you. And I hope to have many more conversations with you other than, live and on your show, but like, many
Well,
more conversations that hopefully we could do that.
the one question I have is, I know you guys do a lot around wills. Does the Register of Wills have any position around, like, legislation, or like having influence in legislation? Is that possible?
So
Or
we do. So the influence we have, we would as a register of will, we have an association. All register of wills get together and have an association, and whatever we think we have the power of for our county, they usually get together and do. The
understood?
current register of wills does not participate in that association.
Oh,
She does not, and she's been in this position 17 years.
yeah.
But in
It's
that
in a
association,
good book.
um, there are things that we can discuss and yeah, and make legislation like and lobbying the state to lower probate fees. That's
Mm,
something we are all interested in as different counties as register of wills because it affects each county
yeah,
and each county is different. So that's just one thing out of many that register of wills can have a power over.
that sounds like a good thing. More money to the people, and
Yeah,
it also doesn't seem like your Register of Wills is very different from the one that we have, who's been there, I think, since like 2001. And
really.
yeah, oh man.
Do you know who your register of will person is?
So Sarita Lee.
Oh, okay.
So
Yep.
Rita Lee, so she made history, I guess, at that point, almost 20 years ago, as the
Hmm.
first person of color.
Yep.
Because as you know, like Prince George's politics, it's been, the last 50 so years that the black political power.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so that was definitely historical. But hey, I definitely think we need somebody next to
That's so powerful.
But
She's
yeah,
like one of three. So there's, I mean, if we look at just our sister counties, like, just around, there's, Prince George's, there's Howard County, there's Baltimore
yes,
County,
yes,
all of those. So she is one of, so there's, I think there's one in Baltimore County,
yes,
a sister there. There's one in Philly, not close to here, but there's one in Philly representing. And
yeah,
then it's going to be one in Anne Arundel County.
yeah.
Now, I think there was a sister who ran for Register of Wills. Matter of
And
fact, NAACP also. I'm sorry.
in which?
She ran for Anne Arundel County Register of Wills many years back. I believe in
Oh,
'08. Alsop, I think her Jackie Alsop.
oh, she's in the yeah. She's
She's
still
in the NAACP. Yeah, so she ran, and it was a very close. So,
um
but that was, to my knowledge, the only
she laid the
one.
foundation real quick. She laid the
Yeah,
foundation. That's what
she
we like.
sure did. She sure did. She sure
Huh.
did.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's never been held um, by
Well,
an African American.
the thought is like, I'm just happy that this year, the person in Prince George's was contested because, the thought is like I do want somebody else of color to assume the position. But
Yeah.
like if you're running like 3 elections unattested, it's like,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
yes,
It's like,
so exactly.
yeah. Yep.
So, but I don't know. Somebody told me it's almost better, especially like to run against somebody, so you can
Yeah.
juxtapose yourself, show your body of work against
Yeah. To
theirs.
see. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I will say, I mean, in the primary, my numbers,
some good
first of all,
numbers.
I was the first one. Well, in the last, I don't even know how long ago, years, right? The first one to beat her in the primary. Now, I was unopposed, but this was my first time running. So my
Mm.
numbers beat her in the primary, and she hasn't had that happen in years.
Hey, how many elections? Because are yours every 4? Because I know we're every 4. Like
We're
so,
every four. So the
yeah, so,
last person that ran against her in 18,
yeah.
he didn't win. He didn't win in the primary or the general.
Okay.
Person before that didn't win in the primary or the general. Person before that, neither.
Yeah. No, she's
Yeah,
got.
and mind you, she has been not. I mean, this election, other than 18, and then I believe before 18 was 08, maybe 12. But she's
Mm,
been chilling. No
yeah.
one ran against her, I'm saying.
No one running against it, and then I feel like Anne Arundel County has Anne Arundel County has becoming like more black as well in some
Yeah.
areas, right? Like because
Yeah.
it's a county-wide position, right?
It
So
is a countywide position.
you're
Yeah.
not just running in Annapolis, but in many different areas of Anne
Yeah.
Arundel, and I've seen migration of blacks
Yeah.
to different areas of Anne Arundel. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's a good place
So
here.
yeah, we are very much here, right?
Yeah.
Very
We,
much here and
we were here
alive.
since the
And I
beginning.
mean,
We were here since the beginning in
I
Annapolis.
was just about to say that.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that. So we ain't
You
going
just,
nowhere.
that's what you're gonna say.
All we
Oh,
do is duplicate.
yeah. No. Keanu, he reminds me of the rich history of Annapolis.
He
Uh,
does.
so
So
yes.
young. And I know. And I mean, it's just he's just amazing.
Yeah,
He's
well,
just
that's why he's a
amazing.
teacher.
So young
That's
like
why he
that.
got into teaching. That's why he got into teaching. I'm like, man, you got more patience than me. I
Yeah.
can't teach these bad kids, even though I have kids. But yeah, big ups to the
Yeah.
teachers. And
Yeah.
so I just wanted to ask you a couple rapid questions before I get you out of here.
Sure.
So the very first question I have is, what's the first thing you're gonna do, once you get elected?
First thing I'm going to do is, as soon as I get elected, celebrate, right? Take it
Yes,
all in,
yes.
because it will be historical. It has, never held that position before. So I'm going to take it all in. I've already been planning on my next steps upon entering my new role. And the first things first is outreach. So
Okay,
we're
okay,
going to
perfect.
set that up. I'm going to be able to look at my field, look at what I've got, and then work on how I'm going to increase the office to be present, to be
Yes,
more present. Yeah. And not such a
absolutely,
ghost town.
absolutely. And the next question I have for you: favorite superhero and why?
A superhero?
No, favorite superhero and why?
Oh, favorite. Favorite superhero would be, oh my gosh. Um,
Oh no. What about
I
when you were a kid? Did you have one as a kid?
well, see, as a kid, it was Jessica Rabbit, but I didn't know any better.
Oh,
Um,
you could have just went with that. You could have went with Jessica.
okay, I'll go with Jessica Rabbit. But then you're gonna ask me why, and I don't know.
And then well you
I'll
had to
go
say,
with Black Panther.
oh, oh, that's cliche. You were the cliche. All right. We do love Black Panther here. We always accept it.
We all do. We we love Black Panther. I do. So that would be my favorite one. That's what I'm going with. What did you
Absolutely.
just say? Huh?
You said no, no, no. I was saying absolutely. I know you
Yes.
saw the trailer. Everybody saw the trailer.
I can't
Um,
wait.
and so the last question I was gonna ask you was favorite event in Annapolis.
Family Day Festival.
Uh, I'm surprised there wasn't anything on the water because that y'all got those nice water events. Yeah.
I enjoy the water, right?
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I go out. I have friends with boats, but again, I told you I'm more.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
events that I love,
Of course, of course, of
my
course, of
heart,
course.
are ones that are by
Yeah.
us, for us.
Yes, yes, yes. By us, for us.
Yeah.
Yes, I appreciate that, and I love that sentiment. I understand.
Yes.
Wakanda forever. So thank you very much for joining us, and guys,
Same here.
definitely don't forget to get out there and vote. We have a general election coming up.
Yes,
We
please.
have yes, yes. So
Let's
vote
make
them,
this history
vote
happen.
them down the ticket, guys. We we
Straight
we
down the ballot,
we
down
have
ballot.
history at the top and at the
Yeah,
bottom of the ballot as well.
that's right. Vote
Yes,
blue and black.
yes. Vote blue and black. Yes.
Vote blue and vote black all the way across the board on every level.
Is there a way to stay connected with you? Tell people how they can stay connected with you.
Yes, so I am on Facebook, Erica Griswold, Griswold for Wills everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, website. Um, yeah, those three.
Okay.
Griswold for Wills.
Well, thank you for joining us, Erica,
Thank you
and of
so
course,
much.
good luck out there. Continue
Yes,
being
thank you.
grassroots and
Yeah,
community committed.
yep. Thank you
And
so much.
yes,
Thanks for
yes.
having me. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Okay. I'll see you next time, and definitely tell Keanu I said hello.
I will do that. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Okay. Yes, that was a very special guest, Erica, and definitely can't wait to see the results of her race in November. Guys, make sure to vote. Make sure to vote. Make sure. And so we got another guest coming up next. See you soon. We have another guest, another Maryland, a Marylander joining us, and also a cannabis enthusiast. She is very serious about educating people, the same way I am. Thanks for joining us, Kia.
Hello.
And so what area of Maryland are you coming from? Where are you hailing from right now?
So I'm located in the eastern shore of Maryland. It's the
Okay.
side that sits up against Delaware in a
Okay.
little town called Ridgely, Maryland.
I'm actually familiar with Ridgely. I used to have an old boss that lives out there, and he has a big farm and a lot of animals. So yeah. But there's not many black people. At least they were very far and in between.
Yeah, we're actually the third highest population here now.
Really? Okay.
The
Okay.
Hispanics are the second.
Ah. So
Hmm
they're even coming out to the shore, spreading
hmm
out. Okay. Okay. Well, Kia, for people who don't know about you, tell them a little bit about you, who you are, what you do.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm Kia. First of all, I'm a mother, I'm a spouse, I'm a veteran, and I am a medical cannabis advocate. I just recently graduated from the University of Maryland with a master's in science in cannabis science and therapeutics. Yay! Hooray to Maryland for actually providing our nation's first program at a master's level to be able to assist the world with this. So I'm actually, I think they said I'm one of 100, no, one of 333 students right now in the world that has this degree. So I feel like
Okay.
the 3,300, the 300, but at 3,300, that movie. So I feel like we're very unique.
Okay.
I also have a master's in social work and I have a bachelor's in human services. I'm a veteran. I was deployed to Iraq for 15 months. Hence, that's probably why I'm a little, people call me crazy, but the military was fun. Right now, my walk of life has brought me to advocacy because back in 2009, when I came back from Iraq, I didn't feel like the same person, didn't know who I was going on. So, a lot of my comrades drink. I have never been a drinker ever. I was like, but I knew what cannabis provided. So, and I also knew the risk, but I decided to take that chance anyway. And I ended up getting caught up, coming up positive for a urinalysis. So, about a year later, after the incident, the military discharged me. Get it, got it. But I think my whole issue on my road to cannabis started with that incident because I wasn't the only one that came up positive. There were a plethora of people. There were Caucasian, majority like Caucasians and African American soldiers. But what I noticed was the military discharged Black soldiers on their first offense, and Caucasian soldiers are even getting a second chance, or they go to rehabilitation, or whatever. So I didn't understand the injustice in that within the military because I saw it, I experienced it, I just didn't understand it. So that was what put me on the road to cannabis advocacy for veterans, for federal employees,
Sure.
especially for minorities as well.
Sure. I mean, it's a lot of important things. Just reading your bio and learning more about you. One of the things, not only one but two master's degrees, right? And I believe you are first in your immediate family to go to undergraduate and graduate. So that was impressive. Just reading that about you. But
Thank
the
you.
fact that you're advocating for veterans is important. A lot of people have heard, my story of when I first connected in the DC scene, when DC legalized or went recreational, I met a veteran, and basically she just shared a story about how cannabis changed her life. And the thought is, she told me that she went from taking a handful of pills to not taking any, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and how it was life changing because the pills had already, for doing it for such a long term effect, had already had some impact on her organs. And
Mm-hmm.
like, she was saying that like the cannabis not only helps her not use the pills, but it's bringing her back to life. So I've seen other veterans have that experience, and just other individuals have that experience, and to hear about you, and to be kind of be pressured to use alcohol, or make alcohol for a meal make alcohol feel more normal, right? So people like normalize alcohol and, binge drinking, alcohol use, when, cannabis use, it's not dangerous, especially when people know that there's many different forms of consumption. And then you educate people about it. And it's not just about like the high THCs, as I tell people.
Mm-hmm.
It's about like, what the profile is, how it affects me, how, my endocannabinoid system reacts to, this plant. And then the thought is like, I've really seen that it really helps everybody. Like everybody can benefit. Even pets are benefiting, right, from CBD.
Yes.
Everybody can truly benefit. You know what I mean?
Everybody. It doesn't just. This is one material, one plant, one item that doesn't discriminate.
Sure.
And I think that's the problem that maybe those above might have. This war on cannabis, it definitely has to end, because I feel that, like, if it was medically legal, let's just say, for instance, on the federal side, just think about all the possibilities, how it comes to, like, people maybe be living longer, people are going to be happier. Maybe for people, it helps them focus. For me, it helped me focus in school. And I actually performed better in college than I did in high school. So, and you have to look at the insurance part for the medical. Like, we'll be able to file for insurance, be able to pay for it. Now, will we be in direct competition with pharmaceutical? Yes, but why are they scared of a little competition? You walk in a grocery store, you go down the bread aisle, look at all that competition. They weren't scared.
I mean, but the thought is like, the plant has been here, since, BC.
Yes.
The plant has been here since the dinosaurs, right?
Yes.
Like we're just better at cultivating it, and there's a lot more science around it. But I would say the question I have for you is, how are you mixing your passion, social work, and cannabis, and what is your vision, if there is one, on how the two paths meet?
I kind of don't have like a written passion or goal. I think as it comes to me, depending on it, sometimes I have like these ideas, but I feel like it's not for me to execute. It's probably for another person, so I'll share it for them, and maybe that idea was more for them to create or make money out of it, and it just wasn't for me at that moment. It was just a great idea, because I feel like if it's an idea and you like it, you get motivated, you're going to get on your feet and do it and make it come to fruition. Whereas you can shop that idea to other people, and that idea can work for them, and they can do the same process. With me, cannabis and social work just coincidentally came together. It wasn't a planned deal, because you got to think this program started in 2019, the cannabis program at the University of Maryland. So it's very freshly brand new. You only have 2 classes graduated right now. They're on their 3rd class that will graduate in 2023. So it's not a lot of people. And so when I look at social work, this is the thing. Everybody kind of looks at social work like mental health, especially in the federal level, because you see it at the VA a lot. And then like in the DoD sector, you might see them in exceptional family programs or mental health or case management and things like that. I have rarely encountered a social worker that like stood for injustice and equality, combating racism that others don't see in the workplace or in their lives and things like that. And what actually put me onto that was my undergrad. I actually went to a Catholic college. Just so happened it was close to me. The VA was going to pay for it, so I walked into a Catholic college, and I took this amazing class called Race and Gender in Society. And it was actually taught. Sorry, my mom was calling.
Yeah.
It was actually taught by this Hispanic adjunct professor by the name of Jesse Johnson. And he actually opened my eyes to like how people view race, not only in America, but just in the world as a whole, even culturalistically speaking. And that's what really turned me on. And then watching the world change. And so what I do with social work is like I take that with cannabis and I actually educate patients. I'll educate veterans. I'll educate if you're a nurse practitioner. I'm more of the person that like to try to reduce the stigma of it and try to get you to see it at a better light. Like this one guy said, "Oh my God, that's dope." And I said, "No, it's not dope. It's science." I said, "But you're standing there smoking a cigarette." Like, and I said, "You're going to die from that one day." I said, "You're not going to die from this." And so it's just that part of social work that I really like because I really want the cannabis industry to be a fair stake for everybody. It's not regulated right now. So right now, everybody, no matter your creed, color, race, sex, gender, pregnancy status, it don't matter. Anybody that wants to get into this game will have a fair stake. But right now, what I'm seeing is there are certain systems being created that are kind of hindering the minority population again. And I think it needs to be addressed so we don't have the same thing happen like it did with real estate or like it did with just having rights after 1965. You got to think about that. Your parents weren't born with rights, right? So I feel like today moving forward, I, as especially a person of color, a female, should have the right in the state of Maryland, whenever they decide to go recreational, to home grow if I choose to. I should have the right to smoke if I choose to. Because
And I think they'll give you the right to home grow. But my question to you, just stopping you, and you can continue.
yeah,
How many plants are you asking for? What do you want them to do? Because the last conversation was 4 plants.
I
So
think they should leave it at 4 plants.
okay, sure. Okay.
Yeah, they
We'll
should just
carry
leave
on.
it
I'm
at
just, I'm
4.
curious. I want to hear all perspectives because I wanted a couple more. I wanted 6 to 8, but I want to hear all perspectives.
Well, this is how I say 4, right? The reason it's 4 is because anything over that, I believe people will be a target and then they'll think that you're going to be dealing or selling it. But at 4 plants, like how much, if you were to sell it, could you make off of 4 plants? And if you choose to sell it. So it's actually, I feel like a standard to keep the lowest level person safe.
Okay. I never looked at it from that perspective, but it was really from like 4 plants to 6 to 8. It's not that much, but in the way that I look at it is like if you're using your flower for edibles, it takes a lot of flour, especially for edibles sometimes.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was that's more so. But I mean, you bring up a good point, and that's something to consider. But as far as what else you want to see from the state you were mentioning.
I would like Maryland to definitely, they do make it recreational. I definitely think that should be left to all states. But I would like to see them open up more grants and opportunities for people in rural areas.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of the people across the bridge are the ones that are taking advantage in the industry where we have the land. I just wish that our state could write a grant where maybe me being a minority woman, I could have a grant to purchase land to cultivate. I also would like them to streamline or like the federal government, right? So they have, I think it's like 1 to 3% of contracts has to be set aside for veterans only. I would
Yeah.
like to see the state, if they have a cultivation license, a dispensary license, whatever, I would like them to set aside those licenses specifically for a veteran to be able to participate. And at the same time, I get it, it takes a lot more from our state to help them, but I think they should offer that veteran grants. I think they should offer that veteran that support because I see Maryland is one of the biggest states that supports veterans. So
Absolutely.
why not support us right there? You already streamline the card at no cost to us. That's great. But
That is
if
very
I
true.
wanted to partake in the business and a lot of us are on fixed incomes, how can you as my state and as a veteran help me get in the game to be financially free or do a passion or something I love and compete with these out-of-state companies that they're giving these licenses to.
Absolutely. More power to the veterans, more power to the women owned, more power to the black and brown owned. So, one of the things I wanted to bring up and highlight was I met you as a member of V22. You're still active in V22, right?
Yes.
And so, for people who don't know, that is Veterans Initiative 22, and they do great work, great community work and advocacy work, also like legislative advocacy work. So not just, out there screaming. But Kia, what is Veteran 22 for people who don't know, they aren't familiar?
Okay, Veterans Initiative 22 is a non-for-profit that is actually dedicated to bringing suicide awareness to the public and to veterans. Our mantra is We Care, which stands for Cannabis, Advocacy, Resources, and Employment. So veterans that contact us, if they have questions, we're there to give them that information as well in those 4 different realms. The 22 and VI22 stands for how there are 22 veterans that commit suicide every minute. And we know based on research, a lot of this is from the opioid pain. Some of them might not be taking pills and they're tired of just feeling that internal madness that's going on with them. So we do provide awareness about that. We also provide free medical evaluations for veterans who live in the state of Maryland. I believe we have one doctor that's on volunteer staff with us that will do it in the state of Virginia as well. We also charge it for the general public at $50 rate. We don't believe that it should be like 200, 300 just to get access to cannabis. So we actually have a great nurse practitioner on staff by the name of Renee. She actually graduated the year before me, and she treats her husband with CBD for his knee pain, and he turned away from pills ever since. So I'm so fortunate to have her working with us, and hopefully in the future we'll put on like a free evaluation clinic for veterans in the area sometime. Not sure yet with everything going on.
And so, a question I have for you: you have this cannabis masters. What did you learn? Like, how is it useful? That's really what I want to know is: are you an expert now? And just help me understand.
I definitely would not say I'm an expert. I would say very knowledgeable.
Sure.
I think one of my biggest things, everybody has the reasons why they went into it. I think my biggest first reason was I want to know, why is it prohibited? Where did this start? Where did this all derive? And usually in any program, they'll give you the history of like, how did social work start? How did psychology start? How did OBGYism start? Things like that. So I was like, well, I know this school will let me know. Like, I want to, dig into the history of the prohibition of cannabis. So that's the stance I took when I went into this program. And that was actually the first class we had to take, was the introduction and the history of cannabis. And I learned some very interesting things into why we are where we are today. And it's only based on one thing from my perspective.
Hemp. But I'm willing to hear your perspective. But mine is hemp.
Hemp. I would say it's illegal because of racism. I mean, we had, I definitely would say
racism and hemp. How about we go racism and hemp? Because I think it was business and it was like, just like slandering as far as like racially.
No, I really think it had nothing to do with money, right? Because at the end of the day, if people want to make a profit, they're going to do it. I don't believe it had anything to do with money. I believe it had everything to do with it's an available product that everybody can get. It's not like, I was taught the person who holds the information has all the power.
Yes.
Who controls the flow of information has all the power, right? So we have a product that could just be grown by everybody. we can't control it. So that's one of the things they say, we can't control it, right? Or we can't control the different varieties. And then we have also a plant that is a healer. So what does that do to the people that are out here making money off of prescription pills? And then we have where let's take it back to like the 1940s. There is this, he would be equivalent to the FBI director today. His name was Jerry Aslinger. He was a well-known racist in the federal government, and he sat in that position for 30 years, and he deliberately targeted Black, brown, and people of color. And he's the one he is really the main reason why we are where we are today. In order for it to become prohibited, they had to wipe it out the medical encyclopedia, Wikipedia, however you want to term it today, and then put a tax ban, which was called the Marijuana Tax Act. So if anybody wanted to sell this, it was going to come at a high price like it does today. And so that's why a lot of doctors got away from it. But when the policing of this plant was underway, it was only targeted at Black and Hispanics, hence the word marijuana, because that's really a racist statement. So I really people would appreciate people call it as it is, which is cannabis. That's her name, cannabis. Marijuana is the racial slang that the government created for this plant. So when I look at it today, it's still the same thing happening. We have a plant that's still illegal, but it's well known. People of color and Caucasians consume this plant at the same rate, if not Caucasians more than we do, but we're the ones being targeted, being arrested, being put in jail for this action, and there's no reason for it. And I was told it was all about this theory called the Great Race. And I kind of believe in that theory, if you ever heard of it.
Yes. I definitely, know where you're coming from. I've seen the show. And so one of the things I also wanted to ask you was, what vet-owned like businesses, dispensaries, cultivators exist out there in Maryland? Are there any ones to process, or any ones to be watching out for, pay attention to, or?
Out in Maryland, I have it, but you know what? That is a good search I need to do. I would say I know more of maybe evaluators and educators, or maybe social media influencers that might be coming up based on their follows in the industry. On the East Coast, it's like brand new here. So we can't compare ourselves to California, where somebody in the industry might have 100,000 followers or 50,000. We're new out here. So it's like a brand new industry. So I feel that if people are going to follow somebody that's going to bring knowledge, that's going to bring inclusivity, and that's going to make it fun, and that's make it, this is what it's there for. Also, people that are for it, that will vote for it, that support it, that believe in it. I think those are the people to follow.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you have always had good energy and good spirit. I met you when I was helping organize for the Senate candidate from Louisiana, Gary Chambers, hopefully the next U.S. senator. Because as you know, you talked about the federal level a lot. We can pass the MORE Act as many times as we like in the House, but until we have more pro-cannabis senators, that bill is going nowhere.
Nowhere.
Exactly. So we need, more people who believe that, cannabis should be normalized, that, they should destigmatize it. And that, I think one of the most important things that Gary said is, yes, cannabis is a gateway to opportunity, because the thought is there's a lot of communities that can, benefit, from the fruits of cannabis. So, yeah.
And it's also a gateway to a better quality of life.
Yes, absolutely. Spot on. And so before I get you out of here, I got a couple quick rapid fire questions for you.
Shoot.
What is your favorite consumption method?
Smoking.
Understood.
Smokables.
Smokables. Understood. Are you the paper, the wrap? What is your
I
the
wouldn't definitely. I'm
glass.
not a paper girl. That's too small for me to roll. I would definitely say I'm a wrap roller.
Understood. I got you. Old school with the wrap roll. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So what is your favorite terp and favorite strain? I don't feel like
Favorite terpenes. That's very interesting because I was a judge at the National Cannabis Fest, so I got to test like all these different types. Mycrene or mycerine. Sometimes my pronunciation is not the best, so forgive me. MYCERD. I get that term.
Myrcene.
Mercy. Yes, and you
Myrcene
know
is your
what?
favorite kind of terp.
People are probably like, "How the hell she got a degree and she can't even say a word?"
Right. No, we're kidding. We're kidding. You can write about it, right? That's what you can say. I can write
That's
about
all
it.
that matters. As long as I can write about it, I don't have to talk, baby. I can write about it.
And did you have a favorite strand or no favorite strand?
I would definitely say my favorite strand is called OG Kush. It's definitely one of my favorite strands because I use that strand for my PTSD, and PTSD affects people in so many different ways. So for me, I like OG Kush. I just can't wait till they come together and give these like a nice medical term next to it. So when patients actually walk in, instead of saying, "Oh, can I get the OG Kush for my PTSD?" or can I get like something like, they could put another name with that, like a medical name. But
Yeah.
definitely, I would recommend the OG Kush.
Yes. And so my last question: favorite superhero and why?
I
You're striking me as
definitely,
an Elastigirl. You're striking me as an Elastigirl, but no, I'm just kidding. Who we got?
I definitely would say. I know it's very cliche. I would definitely say Wonder Woman, not because of her outfit, not because of the way she looked, because she's timeless and
It's
she
okay.
fights for inequality if you pay attention to her movie, and she's very mysterious and people want to know who she is, and she's always there when people least expect it and when needed.
Huh.
That's why
Okay.
you wonder about that woman.
Okay. Now, so Ms. Kia, tell people how they can stay connected with you.
Okay, so guys want to have a conversation or get in touch with me, you can follow me on Instagram at nerdy weed girl. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. You can follow me on Instagram at nerdyweed_girl. Nerdy as in NERDIEEWEED_girl. I'll hit you back up. I don't post that much, but if you DM me, I'm there.
For sure, she's definitely supportive all the way out there on the East Coast, doing some great things. Congrats again on graduating.
Thank you.
Definitely big ups. Yes. And I'm sure that would help get you some points in the license process. After we pass this ballot initiative. So
We'll see. Hopefully, they write some really good laws, but they just got to get the right people up in there to write them. I actually applied for a job up there to do that. So hopefully, we'll
okay.
see.
Oh,
But
for sure.
I
And
like
if you need a reference letter, let me know. Not saying I know anybody or have any power, but
no,
you know,
no, but I like this side of it too. I don't want to give up my time 8 hours a day.
yes.
Hey,
Well, of course, you do great out there. Continue to do great things. Take care of the little one. Didn't mention, but you're also a can of mom. I'm a can of dad, and
can of
we definitely
can of
have to.
vet, can of spouse, can of
Sure,
advocate.
sure. I can't say I'm every one of those, but definitely, most of those, and kind of being at the center. So, thank you for being a part of the show, and thank you for being a part of the Canna family.
Thank you. It was a pleasure meeting you. It was an experience. And I love throwing things back and forth with you anytime.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us, and I'll see you soon.
Take care. Sorry for the paint. I was painting today.
No, you got a great little setup like there. I love like the
Oh,
couch bird, the
hold on.
couch
Check that
bird
out.
cage. Look like
Actually,
a
people
little
call me that. People call me this.
cannabis connoisseur.
Yeah, people call me this. So I got the pill.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that. I got to change your contact information. Now you're the cannabis connoisseur.
Yes.
I appreciate you. Thanks, Kia, so much.
Take care.
Okay, have a good one. All right, that was Kia. Thanks, Kia, for joining us for this week. That was People Over Politics. We have an election coming up, so we have a candidate, community servant, and as you just saw, we had a Canna mom, Kia, a veteran, and also an advocate. So definitely stay tuned. See you next time.